right. Hi, I have a few questions for you regarding high performing teams. And the first question that I have is, how do these 14 leadership skills support or not high performing teams of the future?
So, after thinking about the changes that have been going on throughout the world, a high performing team right now will look much different in the future. And this is because things are changing very fast, and the skills that make up a high performing team are also changing. And many of these 14 leadership skills support high performing teams of the future. And the one skill that kind of really caught my attention was emotional intelligence. I think that many people don't really think of emotional intelligence as a skill, but it's something that I think will be a very important skill of a leader of a high performing team. And especially with the increase in technology used in many different settings, leaders have to be able to understand and manage their own emotions as well as their teams more than ever. And understanding the environment that provides the greatest amount of success for each individual teammate will allow the team to work cohesively and understand each other in a way where you can grow and learn from one another. And another leadership skill that I think is very important is being flexible. And this is a skill that has received a lot of attention over the last year, and leaders need to be able to adapt and quickly adjust to meet the needs of the team. And we have learned a lot about what it means to be flexible over this past year. There are many accommodations that have had to have been made, and whether you're working from home, in the office, or traveling, being flexible and adapting to the new normal is something that we will all have to continue to do for the rest of our lives. And the last skill that I think is very important of a feature of a high performing team is being able to focus on the objectives of the team. I really like this one as it brings another perspective to the team. Kind of with all the change and flexibility of the future, there still needs to be this clear focus on the long-term objectives as well as the short-term goals. And when there's a clear focus, it creates a team that is able to celebrate the successes, but also learn from the failures.
So, the second question I have for you is, in this future, the fourth industrial revolution, what do high performing teams look like?
In this future, I believe that high performing teams are those that work in a cohesive unit in all settings. With the increase in use of technology, things in the workforce have changed dramatically, and teams have to be able to adapt. And while technology has changed the world in many wonderful ways, I also think that it's changed the way that people interact with one another. And a lot of people have lost interpersonal skills because there is less human to human interactions in a face to face setting. And because of this, I think that a high performing team must have very good communication and have very good interpersonal skills. And this is very important as people start using technology more frequently to interact with one another. And also making sure that each team member is comfortable in each setting will create an environment where a team can excel to be able to share and create ideas and be a part of a very successful team. And because of the way that the world is changing, high performing teams are also those that can adapt quickly to change with these new realities of the fourth industrial revolution. Teams will need to be able to integrate these new technologies to be able to keep up with the fast paced world.
The third question I have for you is, what are the critical success factors of these future high performing teams?
Many of the things that I previously discussed are all important success factors of these high performing teams. However, I think that there are a few critical characteristics that make up high performing teams. And the first critical factor is having a clear vision and focus on the future. I think that having a common purpose with very clear roles and responsibilities of each teammate will not only help create a very cohesive environment, but it also creates a clear objective that each team member can focus on. And another critical success factor is valuing and integrating differences within the team. Teams of the future are becoming more and more diverse, and team leaders need to ensure that the skills and experiences of each teammate is valued and acknowledged. And this creates an environment where each person feels that their voice is heard, which will lead to more creativity, innovation, and new ideas. And it also creates an atmosphere that promotes inclusion and vulnerability. And when ideas are expressed without judgment, there is a lot more room for success. And the last critical success factor that I want to talk about is working collectively and efficiently. Like I said before, high performing teams must work together as one unit. And in addition to this, teams must work smart by incorporating new techniques to improve the efficiencies of the team.
All right, my last question for you is how can you and your unique individual skills contribute to these future high performing teams?
I think that a skill that I have to be able to contribute to these future high performing teams is that I'm a silent leader. And while I'm not the most vocal leader of all time, I am a person that can lead by example and listen to others. And I think that this skill would allow me to contribute to these future high performing teams, because I personally think that a high performing team doesn't necessarily need a very vocal leader in order to succeed. And I think that leading by example is one of the strongest ways to gain respect and trust from team members. I think this kind of goes hand in hand with the essential skill being humbly confident. While it is important to acknowledge your successes as a leader, it's just as important to encourage others to shine. And this is something that I think I'm able to do very well. I'm not a person that expresses all of my achievements to others. Instead, I focus on the achievements of my teammates. And another skill that I think that I could bring to a future high performing team is that I'm a very flexible person. I think that it is extremely important to understand that not everything goes the way that is planned, and that there are many adjustments. Many adjustments need to be made in order to meet all of the expectations of the team. And being flexible means that you have to quickly adapt to be able to accommodate to the new reality. And success from past years may look different from success today and what it may look like in future years. And there is no recipe to success. And it's important to be able to be flexible and adapt to these changes that can lead to success. And I think that as a person that can lead by example, listen to others, and being flexible, I will be able to contribute in many ways to the success of a high performing team.